What about display and exhibiting? Now, when you're developing displays and interpretation that incorporate a gendered perspective, here are some things to keep in mind. First of all, you have lots of options. There are plenty of ways to integrate a gendered perspective into your interpretation. You might, for example, consider integrating into permanent exhibitions and temporary exhibitions a gender trail, which visitors can follow to find objects whose gendered significance is highlighted, and that might be highlighted either on their object labels or in a separate trail leaflet. You could think about including additional labels highlighting objects' gendered significance, and you might consider co-producing those labels with women's groups and/or LGBTQ+ community groups. You might consider too artistic responses to exhibitions produced by women and/or LGBTQ+ people.
The really important thing to remember is that there are lots of examples of good practice out there. Take, for example, the Vasa Museum in Stockholm. They have a brilliant exhibition, a permanent exhibition called Vasa's Women, which highlights the multiple contributions of women to the history of the Vasa warship. Alternatively, take a look at the museum's Liverpool and Walker Art Gallery, where they've altered permanent exhibitions to ensure LGBTQ+ relevance of objects and artworks and make sure that it is explicitly mentioned. And finally, another great example to check out is the Museum of Transology. This is currently at Bishopsgate Institute in London. It's a travelling exhibition of objects selected by trans people for their own personal relevance, and it's a great example to start working from.
Now, it's also worth thinking about tours, because while it is often quite impractical or costly to change permanent exhibitions, tours offer an easy way of providing fresh perspectives on collections and highlighting gendered objects in what might well be long-term displays. And you might consider both guided and self-guided tours. So you could try, for example, creating a self-guided tour that's based on particular objects around the museum that present a narrative of gender diversity. And this could be as simple as producing just a printed page or a downloadable PDF, or if you have the funding, a small booklet or a map.
Another thing that you can do is think about considering marking key objects with a symbol or badge, which invites visitors to discover more information online. Or you might look to integrating gendered stories or objects into existing tours. You also might offer LGBTQ+ training to tour guides. And also you can work with interested groups within and or outside the museum to produce bespoke gender or LGBTQ+ tours. Try, for example, working with local LGBTQ+ groups or university students.